We welcome back Louie DeBrusk. Hello, Louie. How are you?
Doing well, Bob. How you doing?
Good. It's like I just saw you, I don't know, about an hour and a half ago.
Hey, you were doing well then, so I figured you'd still be doing well.
Well, I'm doing well. I mean, I don't love the position the Oilers are in, and I'm going to be honest with you. You can't help. This is year 17 for both you and me, broadcasting the Oilers games. And you care about people. You want to see a team be successful. And, you know, the team had a wonderful run last year, went to the seventh game of the Stanley Cup final, rallied from a 3-0 deficit, had great expectations as a team, got dealt a curveball on August the 13th, kind of changed the dynamic of the team a bit. And they are playing a hungry, disciplined LA's Kings team who's been vanquished the last 3 years by Edmonton. And Louis, full marks for the Kings for being up 2-0 in the series. I think you agree.
I would totally agree. And, you know, they are a team that are really motivated. They're playing the best they can play right now, in my opinion. You've seen the best game of the Los Angeles Kings, and they brought it. And they've scored 12 goals in 2 games. So, you know, we came into this series thinking, okay, this is a defensive team. They're going to clog you up. And, you know, in past, they didn't necessarily have that game-breaking play or the depth necessary to find that goal, but they have found it this year. And it's not just now. Like, if you look down the stretch, they're a team that has put up numbers, and they score goals down the stretch. And they've done it at a consistent basis. So, you know, it's not really, for me, that surprising that, you know, they're a team that can put the puck in the net. You know, in their last 15 games, 7 times they had 5 or more goals.
Yep.
3 times 7 goals. So, I mean, 2 games with 12 goals, 6 goals in each game. This is kind of how they've been rolling, and this is what, you know, if you're watching, this is what we saw coming into the playoffs. Now, the big question mark was Edmonton coming into this first round. They had a ton of injuries, month and a half. There wasn't a whole lot of chemistry as far as line combinations staying the same. It was mixed and it was matched. And because of the players that were out of the lineup, they were trying to find a way to grind out wins and secure the spot in the playoffs because they were getting pushed in the end. But they did. They found a way to win hockey games. They found a way to make sure that down the stretch they're 8-5-1 in 14 games without a lot of players in their lineup from time to time and at different times. And we've talked about McDavid and Draisaitl not playing together for those 14 games. That's pretty impressive. So they dug deep and they found a way. They're going to have to do the same thing in this series. And I do believe they have it in them. This is a team that has a lot of experience from what they've gone through in the last 6 postseasons, including this one now, which is a spot that they haven't been in this early in the playoffs. And, you know, we've seen them come from behind in series in the last few years. So this is a team that can kind of forget about the last game, learn from their mistakes, go out and put their best foot forward, and they're going to certainly need the home ice advantage and the home crowd cheering for them on Friday night to beat this Los Angeles Kings team. But that's priority number 1. That's all you can do. Worry about the game at hand. Go out there and give it your best shot, see what happens. And as I said before, this is a team that can get it done. But it's going to be tough because LA is playing really well right now, and it's a different Los Angeles team, Bob, for me, because they're confident. They're a confident bunch right now. 7 of the top 9 forwards had a point in each of the first 2 games.
Yeah, well, that's
pretty impressive. That is depth.
All
That's
right.
depth for your line.
So, Louis, last year Edmonton had a combined 145% on special teams. They were perfect 100% of the PK and at 45% of the power play. LA had the number 2 ranked penalty killing unit in the league last year, and Edmonton scored 9 power play goals on them in 5 games. Well, I got news for you. The Kings are at a combined 150% right now. The Oilers' power play has created opportunities but hasn't been able to score. And Edmonton can't stop LA's power play. 5. I did like something that they did. Unfortunately, they got scored on once with McDavid on the ice. I like the fact that they had McDavid out there. They almost perfectly executed the first PK last night, and then Fogle came down at the end of the shift and, you know, got positioning on Jake Wallman and then got a pass in front, and Brant Clark picked it out of the air. Did you see this special teams dominance from LA after the Oilers were the team that was at 45% the 3 previous years in the power play?
I didn't see it, no. But, you know, it's something that they really diligently worked on. And, you know, you have to talk about Kuzmenko coming on board for the Los Angeles Kings. When he came on board, Number one, it solidified their lines. He was injected in the top line with Kopitar and Kempe. That's where he remains. And it really settled the other two lines. And their three lines are great. They have three lines, excuse me, that Jim Hiller feels comfortable playing against anybody. All three lines have played against Draisaitl, played against McDavid, and the combination of the two throughout the first two games. So, you know, when you have that luxury of having three lines you feel that confident with, that's, again, another confidence booster. So, and the other thing, too, the five-forward power play, and that's why McDavid was on the ice to penalty kill. You know, question mark for me, too. You know, Leon Draisaitl was a fantastic penalty killer back in the day. He got pulled off because he was logging a lot of minutes, and they wanted him more for offense, and they designated other people to penalty kill. I was kind of surprised to not see him in the mix, too, a little bit. If you're going to do that, why not put both of them out there? Why not put Draisaitl and McDavid? You know what I'm saying? Like, Draisaitl's an excellent penalty killer. And I know you're putting your two best players on the ice in a penalty kill situation.
It's not the regular season. Like, it's the playoffs. Everybody blocks shots in the playoffs, you know? Like,
yes, and I know that's what I was going to say. There's always the possibility that somebody takes a shot, and I get that, but it really does present a threat. And McDavid, the one time on the penalty kill you were talking about, he did take that puck, he lugged it down. That was a great opportunity for Connor Brown on the one-timer. He actually got a really good shot away in the slot. Connor drew Fiala a little bit too deep. He found Brown behind in the slot, and he got that one-timer away. So I think it's smart thinking on Knoblauch's part. I do. I think it's smart thinking in the sense that he's looking at five forwards on the ice. I don't know if there's a scarier guy with speed coming down on you on a one-on-one than Connor McDavid for any defenseman in the league, let alone a forward. And, you know, I know Adrian Kempe's a great skater, but you still got to say he did the right thing there. He backed all the way up and he just didn't want to get beat. But what happened was it was Brown that got the chance late. Anyway, just something I thought about. Leon Draisaitl back in the day was essentially their best penalty killer.
He was.
So it's not like he hasn't been in that position before. But in case in point, here's the thing. The Los Angeles Kings have lost 3 series in a row to the Edmonton Oilers. Talked to Drew Doughty on their media day the day before, Sunday before the Monday night game. And he looked up at Jack and I and he said, hey, he goes, we've been preparing for Edmonton for quite a while. You know, this is a team, and I said this before, that was thinking about Edmonton a whole heck of a lot more than Edmonton was thinking about them. Edmonton had bigger problems on their mind down the stretch in the last month and a half with what was going on with the team and the injuries. But for Los Angeles, they really felt it was going to be a fourth consecutive matchup. And he said they've been building towards this. This is what they've been looking forward to do. And they've come out with a game plan, and you have to tip your cap. They've executed that game plan. And they've got a deep team and a hungry team, and they've been committed. Edmonton, for me, has been a little bit undisciplined. They haven't managed the puck well. Turnovers are killing them. I know Chris Knoblauch talked about that, and I agree with him. I just think that if you're going to give the puck back to this Kings team, they're not the same old Kings team. This team is going to make you pay, and they have made them pay when they make mistakes. But for me, the aggression on the penalty kill, number one, has gotten a power play that hasn't been together for a long time and is trying to find their way again. Not easy to do in the pace and the intensity of the playoffs. But they still have created chances, but it's got to get going, and it will get going. And then on the power play, they are lights out right now, Bob. So that discipline becomes even more of a factor. And I think that has been smashed home with a 50% power play in the first 2 games from the Los Angeles Kings.
Yeah, there's no question about it. You know, another thing that's not happening, Louie, the Oilers aren't winning faceoffs on the power play or on the PK.
Yeah.
Right? They're losing the wrong draws right now.
Yep. And, you know, they were really behind in game number 1, the third period in that push. They started to win some draws, and it changed a lot. It changed a lot of what happened in the offensive zone. They started to get possession. And in game number 2, same thing, though. It was, you know, in order to have that chance right out of the gates in the offensive zone, you have to win those faceoffs. In the defensive zone, it's even, if not more important, because you're defending. As soon as they win the faceoff, now they're on the offense. Yeah, you have to dig in, but it's not just the sentiment. I've always said this. I was a winger, and I'm a huge believer in winger wins. I'm a huge believer in you have to fight tooth and nail to come up with that loose puck once that puck is dropped. It's not just the centerman. Yes, a really good centerman's going to win a lot of faceoffs for you, but if you watch good faceoff teams, a lot of times it's a draw, and somebody else is coming in there and taking that puck. And early on in this series, the Los Angeles Kings have won more battles than they've lost. In game number 1, through the first 40 minutes, it was like, whoa. I mean, Edmonton couldn't win a puck battle in either zone. They certainly ratcheted down in that intensity, and they started to win battles, and that's what has to happen. I think Connor McDavid said in his postgame, we just didn't get to our game quick enough. Rightfully so. Again, this is a team that was put together for the first time in game number 1. Game number 2 was a completely different roster with Evander Kane coming back in the lineup and Klingberg. Never have those 20 players played together before in game 1 and game 2. So the Los Angeles Kings have a lot of things in their favor right now. And I think Edmonton knows that, but I also know that Edmonton still has a belief in them that they've done this before. They're not rattled yet. It's a 7-game series for a reason, and they're going to go out and try and win a game and make it a series Friday night versus the Kings in game number 3.
Well, think about last year, Louie. Like, we had some wild swings during the course of the playoffs last year. Yeah. Vancouver was up 1-0, 2-1, and 3-2 against Edmonton. I had guys at an establishment in Vancouver, where the team hotel was, chirping me about how, the Oilers organization, this and that, you guys suck. And I'm like, well, dude, I'm trying to, focus on your own team. Your general manager was relentless. He continuously improved the team all year long. And, oh, by the way, it's the best of 7. And, of course, the Oilers came back and won Game 6 and Game 7. And that was against Vancouver. They were down 2-1 against Dallas, and down 2-0 in Game 4. Down 2-1 after 3 games against Dallas. Down 2-0 in Game 4. Came back, rallied to win that series. They're down 3-0 to Florida. I think we could. Do you think Florida's a better team than LA? Do you think Florida last year is a better team than LA this year?
Well, I think what you're looking at, hard to say. I mean, I think the Florida Panthers are defending champions, and they know how to play. They know how to play a brand of hockey that's not easy to play against. And it would be a great series, I think. But I think that, Florida just has that swagger right now. I'm seeing it in the games versus Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, I really thought was going to go in there and shock the Florida Panthers with their speed. Hasn't happened yet.
Hasn't happened
yet because this team, they're tough. They're a team that knows how to win. They know how to grind it out.
After the loss last night, Edmonton dropped to 10-19 in 21 games played, games 1 through 3 since the 2022 playoffs. They're 19-7 in games 4 through 7. It's just
there you go. And this is not unfamiliar territory against Los Angeles Kings. You look at the first matchup 4 years ago. The Kings had 2 chances to finish off Edmonton. They went in and won Game 6 in LA and then won Game 7 2-0 in Edmonton. So if you thought this was going to be, and I know some people
nobody thought it was going to be easy. Yeah. Nobody. Now I will tell you this: if Edmonton
people were delusional thinking it was going to be 4 straight, but I didn't see it that way. With everything that was happening, now if you had a completely healthy Matthias Ekholm in the lineup, completely healthy team down the stretch that could play, get their line combination.
That played together.
Yes. Now, these aren't excuses. This is facts. Okay. Maybe it's different in the first 2 games, but maybe not. You don't know. I mean, but I think I like their chances a lot better though. But right now, you can tell they're a team that's still trying to find their way a little bit, and. You know what? The Los Angeles Kings don't care. They don't care what they went through in the last month.
Yeah,
they got a chip on their shoulder from losing 3 in a row.
Yeah, and they played great, and they played disciplined. Have the Oilers, Louis, and I, it's a loser's lament to whine about officiating. The goals at even strength in the series are 7-7. LA's outscored Edmonton 5-0 in special teams. LA's had twice as many power plays. Has Edmonton just been undisciplined? Has Quentin Byfield done some great play acting to induce a couple calls in this series? Philip Deneau? Absolutely. It's all gamesmanship, right?
Absolutely. 100%. And you know what? That's the other aspect of this series through 2 games that the Los Angeles Kings are winning. And again, I'm going to tell you this right now. This is the game plan. This is a team that's thought about this a lot. Yeah. And I think that the Oilers, just trying to get themselves going in the first 2 games. Let's face it, they had a tie game in the third period of game number 1. They battled back from immense odds to come back and tie that game up. Lost it with give Deneau credit. He got the puck on the net. Fogle stopped in front of the net. It's a little knuckler. Pretty hard to pick that up. He was standing right in front of Stuart Skinner. Okay, so they win that one, and the better team should have won that. They won that game. They were dominant the first 40 minutes, except for the last 4 seconds when Draisaitl scored a nice swim move by McDavid on Kopitar, which is not easy to do, a 2-time Selke winner. But in game number 2, again, it was a 1-goal game in the third period. They haven't grabbed the reins yet in a game where it's up for grabs. And especially early on, I thought they actually came out okay in the
good first period last night. Good first period.
I thought it was fine. I thought it was a good first period. But as the game goes on, I see a team that right now is a little frustrated, and they're trying a little bit too hard. And I saw some hope passes and plays where you're in the playoffs, and especially against a very good defensive team. You can't make those plays. And I know, and I made a comment in the telecast, it was McDavid and Draisaitl, one pass through two sticks got picked off, another one on the backhand side. Now, I know that both of those guys can make that pass. Okay? I know they can. And they've made it thousands of times in their life. But in how this series is going right now,
Simplify.
the mentality has to be simple, hard, management, discipline. Simple as that. And I know it's, everyone goes, well, what about skill? The skill will come through as it has in the past for Edmonton if they do that. And with all that, the Los Angeles Kings are going to say, okay, we're going to keep playing the way we are. So back to that discipline and gamesmanship, they're winning that battle too. And I think that game 2 was a real reminder with 3 power play goals against. And, late penalty by Henrique, and, guys are getting in scrums, and you can see the frustration boiling over, rightfully so. This is a veteran team, though, and I do believe they're going to reel that back in. They have to, or else it's going to be a short series. They have to reel that in and understand that if they're going to win one game in this series first, that they're going to have to be the most disciplined team and go out there and grind out a win. And if they have that mentality, I like their chances of with the home fans on their back saying, hey, get things going. But it won't be easy.
Great stuff, Louie. Thanks.
All right. Take care, Bob.